Hi all. So I'm back to show you the two Tattered Temples that you guys have seen I've been working on, and we've been working on over on Patreon. And as I've been working on these, I've been sharing with you guys the different techniques that I've used to create these journals. They're basically like, I guess, what we're calling these days a naked journal. So there's some of my stuff in there, and then there are empty pages so that um, there's more of a collaboration. So these I will be putting up on my site for sale. Um, and I will, I guess I will, I guess I need to figure that piece out if I'm going to actually do it this afternoon or do it. I'll do it today. So I'm actually going to do it when this video goes up by 5 p.m. Um, on today, Wednesday, the 20th. Yep, today's Wednesday the 20th, 5 p.m. These will be up on my site, robinmcclendon.com, for sale, and I will have the link there below this video. But yeah, this is a part of my Tattered Temple series. You guys know I've been talking about this, and I've been sharing how this was conceived. Basically, I love old houses. I love going to estate sales and thrifting. I've done it all my life. I enjoy it. And some of my the neatest things that I have found that are in my house that I live with, and also that I use in my art, I find at these thrift stores. And I'm always looking for great stores to buy things that also do really wonderful thrifting, a wonderful sourcing, I want to say. And one of them is actually this little shop called Dust and Heritage. I have their card here. I love the woman. Her name is Nicola. She's on Instagram, but it's Dust and Heritage. Dust_heritage. You think that I have, this is not a paid commercial or anything from them. I just really love their little store. It's in Tucson. So any of you who live in Tucson or live close by, you could go over there. But certainly she also, for everyone else, if you follow her on Instagram, she's always putting things up that she has, and she does ship them. Really good prices and just really lovely sourcing. So, and I'm sure that that's just one of many places, but even just the Goodwills and the Salvation Armies, if you just have a little eye for it, it's amazing what you can find there. So for me, because I love sourcing and I love old houses, I call them bombed out villas. I'm always looking for a bombed out villa, even when I travel abroad and stuff. Because I think houses really tell the stories of its occupants. And I'm always interested in the lives of the women who live in these homes and how they made them a home, and, what kind of wife and mother and lover were they, and what's left behind to me is always a record of the lives that were lived. And so these books are constructed from the conversation or the dialogue of the home. And it was the home that over the years with the different um, owners that lived in it, took bits and pieces of that owner's life and maybe tucked it away, in the recesses of a closet or in between the floorboards or under layers of wallpaper, right? And these are the places that really tell the story of those people who lived in them. So I started the Tattered Temple series, and the narrator of these books is the house itself, is the home itself. It's how it held on to bits and pieces of the people who live there that it loved and treasured, and looking at the house not as a insentient but a sentient being. So that's the place that these books come from, and I'm working on a number of these. I have a number of them lined up, and but these are done. I really love them. I'm really proud of these. It's my style of not only journaling but of just collecting bits and bobs. So let's start off with this first one here. So this one is Mrs. Truesdale of Palm Springs. So yeah, this was the house collections of Mrs. Truesdale. She had a home in Palm Springs, and she lived there most of her life. And she was married young, and she widowed early. So the last 40 years of her life, she was she lived alone, but she just was so full of life. She traveled, she enjoyed, people and connecting, and so that's where this book comes from. Okay, so on the front, these are all bound, and I've done different binding styles with them. I'm playing with different ones, but this is basically a 5-hole binding that's sewn all the way through the covers. There's leather on the spine right here because I really wanted to have this is a piece that was found from her a pair of leather pants that she had in the 60s, and then just bits of lace from her lingerie drawers. And this is a piece from the curtains in her home, and this is like from a pillow cover, a little bit of snake skin from a belt that she had, and so these are all bits and bobs. This is a piece of jewelry that was in her drawer. This is some cloth that she collected on a safari that she went on. And so this is also, I came across years ago these vintage hat pins. And so every book, well, every one of these Tattered Temples, I'm putting one of these vintage hat pins that are from these are from the 20s. And then I have a little thing to hold them. So this is some pearls from her, that necklace that broke and rolled into the floorboards. And so that's holding the hat pin. And so here on the front, there's a whole level. These are all held in place by one of these sort of, it's kind of hard for me to take it off. That way we just turn it around. One of these little clips does come off. Normally it comes right off. Now today I'm trying to take it off. Here we are. When you go to do something, it's always like that, right? So it's one of these pins that's holding it together. And so just a little punch. And the way I've designed this is that there's a lot of things in here that are ready for you to continue to journal with and use within the book. This is a vintage sign. These are used, I found a whole set of them a while back. They're from the 20s as well. And they're used for, for marquees. So you slide them into like one of those boards when you first came into a shop or a theater or something like that. And there's a whole box of all the letters. So this one is T for Truesdale. And then in here also is this pocket comes out. This is a pocket that's in here. And this is another tuck card. And this is one of my Gelli prints that I reproduced. And, this is reminiscent of her visiting Asia on a piece of jade. And it was a little tuck that she kept loved. So that just slides right back underneath this piece of vintage sari fabric. And then this just goes back on there like that. And this little pin slides on there. Just like that. But all these can be used in whatever way you'd like. And then we open it up and go inside. There's a pocket here made from some old wallpaper border that I had antiqued more, and I showed this in my videos how I did that. This is silk. It's been eco dyed with turmeric, and then just a card, another tuck spot. Can be used any way you want. These are reproductions of my Gelli prints. So all of this are like either my Gelli prints or some of my collected items that I copied and tea stained. And so on the back of this is the vintage writing paper, the school paper. So all these are places to write. So there's a lot of just beautiful papers in here. This is another one of my Gelli prints. And then this is some of the old fabric found in the house. This is also eco dyed. This I rust stained. And on the back is a little bit of velvet ribbon on the back side of that. This is all sewn zigzag stitch. So there's lots of places to write. There's lots of room to continue to add and expand in this journal. So you can see it's a 5-hole sewing. Here's another one of my Gelli prints. These are all been reproduced so that I can get this really lovely staining that I do with the eco dyeing, the inks. You can see how they really bleed through on the other side. It's really nice. So here's just some more tuck spots using this old tape thing I like. Oh, I love that. This is another couple of tuck cards. It's another Gelli print. Mine with the gridding on the back. And this is a little glassine envelope that I made. So that's just tucked here, but that can be put anywhere. This is a you know, just a page bookmark. This is made out of some vintage silk that I got quite a while ago, but I just liked how, I love the color of it. I felt that it worked well with the book, and I just liked how wrinkly and fun it was. So some more vintage music paper. This is also from a book that I have that I sourced when I was in Australia. It's a Chinese dictionary. And that's one of the pages in it. And this has also been reproduced on this lined school paper. So every 2 pages, there's a section of one of my Gelli prints with some vintage fabric or ribbon. I really like the staining on this paper. Oh, love it. And then the center fold is an envelope. And so this envelope flaps all the way open. So, you know, you can do a lot of different things with this. You can actually, I opened it so that, you know, it could be expanded, but you could also, obviously, if you wanted to make it more into a pocket, you could close it back down. And then I put one of these little journals in here. I actually made one of these, showed you guys how I made this little zine on one of my videos. When I do my videos, I always will, and I like including things that I make in those videos in my journals. Because I think it also has a special meaning for you guys who are following me. You know, when you watched a video where I made something, to actually then be able to get it in, you know, this is a piece of old wallpaper that came off the walls. It's just glued there. It's like another little tuck spot or whatever in this journal. And then this is, you know, you ladies always have one earring that pops up missing. Well, Mrs. Truesdale had a lot of one earrings. So this is one of those. Like this. So that's in the middle area. And you know, this can be a lot. Can be, so this is just a vintage earring I've had for a while, but I thought was definitely Mrs. Truesdale style. And so there's lots of journaling space in here, lots of space to add your own work, and to really just maybe even, you know, for poetry, for we use as a travel journal for sure. If you're going somewhere that you really, you know, are going on a retreat, or you're capturing a theme or something like this. I really wanted to make it so there was a lot of collaborative space in the journal, and it leaves a lot for you to make your own tucks and your own pockets and stuff, using a lot of the techniques that I've shown, and being able to collaborate, put your own Gelli prints in. And I thought it'd even be fun to, because if you follow me, you know a lot of the colors and stuff I'm using in the palettes, to create um, some of your own papers and stuff in a palette that maybe matches this Mrs. Truesdale book, um, and then make your pockets and tuck spots. It's kind of like the way I like to journal, so I thought that would be a fun way to interact. And this is just this is a copy of a postcard that I aligned with some tea dyed paper, and I like this flap. I just thought it looked nice there. It's from her collection. And then in the back here, another jelly print. Here's another pocket. This is just out of a piece of old Indian sari fabric. I just thought it was so pretty and felt like it really, let's see, it really went with the book nicely. And then here's another tuck card that I made using, this is a flocked paper that I love, and some old, some Indian sari silk ribbon that I, aged as well. And then this is one of from my collection things I've found over the years. So this little button set that Mrs. Truesdale had for something that she never got around to doing. And then this is the back cover. So that's Mrs. Truesdale, Palm Springs, and she'll be up for sale later today on my website. And then this one is Nancy Cunard. So Mrs. Truesdale is just a made-up personality. I love Palm Springs, and I love going to Palm Springs and searching around and the vintage stores, antique stores, going to the old houses and stuff. So I love that. So anyway, now Nancy Cunard, historical figure. Many of you have heard of her. She was the heiress to the Cunard shipping lines, but she was a bit of a renegade, and she loved exotica, and she was an artist and a writer, and she abandoned her family lineage and moved to France during the 20s and became a journal. She actually started her own printing press where she published the works of artists that weren't being published, writers and painters and what have you. And she loved Africa, and she fell in love with and lived many, many years with an African musician, Henry Crowder, and they worked the press together. And for that, her family disowned her because they didn't want her living this bohemian lifestyle, and she was fine with that. So Nancy Cunard is a very interesting lady, and I've loved her from the very beginning when I realized that I kind of responded to the world differently, and as opposed to being a black sheep, I decided I was a rare bird. But I always sought out the lives of people like O'Keeffe and Kahlo and Cunard and Louise Nevelson, and I mean so many artists that just were women who were just artistic, loved arts, but definitely saw the world differently. And Nancy Cunard was one of my earliest finds as a teenager that I just, oh my God, I love this woman. So anyway, as it's true, every one of these gets a hat pin. I have a collection of these, and I just want to start sharing them out. They are so beautiful. These are vintage. You can see how they're made. They're brass with these little, I just love these hat pins, and I'm happy to be. I've had them for a long time and didn't really know how to share them, but I'm so happy now to be able to share these like this. And so this one's going into like a little bone elephant. This is a little one I've had for a long time in my collection. It's a bead. Can we get the? And so trying to get him to focus in. It's kind of washed out right now. But anyhow. And it's a little hole in the top, so the hat pin fits down in there nicely. That's from Nancy's collection. And so here again, this cover is this sort of cream fabric. I've used a distressed leather. This is a 10-hole binding. Like I said, I'm experimenting with different bindings on the books and just sharing them in different ways with you guys. So this is 10 holes. Some more of the lace. And this is some of the African Kuba cloth panel on here with the silk on the back. This is some vintage lace. I've had this a long time. This lace is really old. I would even say this lace is from the 30s. The collection that this came out of. Some more of the Cooper cloth, some of the mud cloth, because Nancy was definitely into the African arts. This is another piece of silk that I dyed. It's turmeric and tea. Piece of lace on the front. So this one also, sorry, the frame has one of these. These pens are actually Tim Holtz. They're the index clips. I love these. You can get some of these. Guys like those. And so here is one for Cunard, one of those from the marquee signs. And then this is a card that I made using flocking. This is a black flock card stock that I think is, I can't think of the name of the company right now that made this. And then this is from a photo reproduction of a cover of one of her Hours Press, 1930s. That was the name of her press. If you look it up, the Hours Press, you'll see a lot of the work that she did there. She was an avid collector of African art and these ivory bracelets. And this was the press was on 15 Rue. I'm trying to see, I can't even really make it out good. Cunard, it seems, Paris. But anyway, so that's a little piece there. And that's underneath some more of this sari silk I've had, or sari fabric. This in here like this. I don't want to damage the letter. There we are, and then slide that in like that. So here we are, this Cunard. Okay, so we open it up, and in here we have some more from, this is a book from my collection. It's been reproduced, and so there's several top pockets in here. So we have a pocket underneath here, then a pocket right here. Where are we? And this is some thin, sort of lacy fabric that I had in my collection that I thought, and this runs the whole length of the book all the way through to the back. So this goes all the way across the back cover. And this is the card. In this book, I have some fold outs of Nancy Cunard that I reproduced online. This is her working at the printing press. And I aged the papers and what have you. So these are just tucked pieces that you can use any way you want in the book. They are designed to be moved around. Right here is another. You guys saw me making this. I know on Patreon I showed how. I think I might even show this on YouTube. How I made this pocket using the images from my Cuba cloth book. That is a downloadable. It's over on my website under the Cuba cloth book. It's $8.99, and there's 15 full page high-res images that you can use and to create pockets. This one I showed where I crinkled it, and it really made it look like fabric. Did the Boro stitching on there, with the linen. See how good it looks. It really does look like fabric. And then this is a tuck card. With her British flag and then some stamps that were from her collection on here. And then, of course, just place her right on the back because she was into, journalism, and she had her own printing press. She had lots of different books, and this is just a beautiful little book that I reproduced the cover of. And on the back is a pocket. And here's another piece from a book that was written on her life. These were the hours. So, and then of course, that's in there. And then we have some of the empty pages. Here again, this is using the silvering technique that I've shown you guys how to do. This becomes a tuck spot here, and one back there on a book page. And here also is another zine. I showed you guys how to make this as well. And this is on a really old piece of paper, so it's really fragile. And I put another one of the pictures of Nancy using a silvering technique that I use on my jelly plate. Hours pressed. And so this is in a little vintage glassine envelope that I sewed in, and using some of this tape. You guys know I love this. This is one of my jelly prints. And then this is some quilting that I did with the paper that's in the Kuba cloth book. So I literally put it on there in sections, sewed it, and then I also did the glazing technique on the jelly print just to give it this little sheen and everything to the fabric look of it all. On the back side, I sewed another piece of paper, and it's on graph paper, so we have the lines and stuff there. So another jelly print, just another. These are so easy to make and put throughout the books, and I just like them. To me, they look vintage, this kind of concept of making a tuck. It also doesn't look studied. It doesn't look like, oh, you really thought about really putting. And when I started working with these sort of junk journals, I love making these. I love making them. And it's also a great way for me to share my collections with people. So I have a lot of stuff I collected, and I really do want to start moving it into good homes. And I thought, what a great way to do it, but to put it in this sort of junk journal format. But I also wanted to be, connect with the way I work. So I didn't want it to look so everything planned and so, deliberate. So a lot of this idea of this little tuck spot like this, I really like just, taping it on the page. Here's another one, like from a faded piece of, this actually was a piece of paper that I had written on with one of the, fountain pens. Where's my fountain pen? Like, like these, like this one, the Quaco. And then I used it to do the coffee staining on it because it was just like my waste sheet. And it bled. I like the way it bled. So I used the back side of that to make a pocket because I really like the way that came out. So literally, you can use fountain pen on some drawing paper and everything, then tea stain it and let it dry like this, and then use the back side of it. And this is a reproduction of a print that I got in Paris a number of years back, probably like maybe 16 years ago, one time when I was in Paris, and I was looking for botanicals. And so this is a reproduction of that. And it looks like the type of flowers to me that Nancy would connect with, and the way she would be responsive to flowers. So this is in there. It's been tea stained, and so that can be used and written on, whatever. This is some of my ink blot paper. It's been dyed, and here I've sewn some more of the paper from the Kuba cloth book that went along with the ethnic fabric bundles. And this is So Nancy Cunard. And that whole bundle and everything, when I was working on it, was really inspired by Nancy Cunard, for sure. Here's another example, one of my prints. And then it's got the little gold paint on it, just to add a little something to it, It's on the back as well. This is sewn on there. And then this is another old book. This actually is a book. I have this book. It's actually a French book. But you can see it's like the old leather and the marbling and everything like that. So it's a reproduction of that I put in here because Nancy was all about books and what have you. And then here is the envelope for inside of this book. And here are the 10-hole binding. This one. And then I made this little pamphlet using the cover of one of her books from the Hours Press. And then I put the tea stain papers in there, and I stapled it, what they call saddle stitching, so it looks like authentic. And then I kind of like colorized the staples so they looked rusted. So this is another little booklet in there, rounded the corners and what have you. So this is one of her Hours Press editions. Added in here. Okay. And it's the back side of that book. The Gelli print. Another example of the fabric edge, the Kuba cloth. Then back here, I made another little tuck thing, and some more of this tape. You guys know I love that. Just looks so real. And this is the back side of that collaged quilted thing. And then this is the envelope. This is the front side, is that piece in the beginning here. For this, the book page. And so then this is just a flap. So another little tuck spot for it. This is the back of this book right here, which is in the beginning here somewhere. This, I think that's it. Yeah. So that's the back part of that book. Well, actually, it's not the actual back part of that book. This is another book that I had, and the way I reproduced it, I made it be the opposite cover because I just thought it was so neat. And to me, this is Nancy Cunard too. That sort of response to flowers and the floral approach and the color palette. And this is another book from my collection of French novels. And then back here are some more tuck spots. So here's another tuck spot using this burlap. And this is a picture of Nancy Cunard and Henry Crowder at work at the printing press. You can see he's here setting type and she's running the press. And that's what I loved about them. They work side by side, and she fed into his dream of and his work as a jazz musician, and he supported her Hours Press. And she was really living the life she wanted to live. And then here's one of the pockets that I've made before. I think you guys saw me make this out of, this is out of the brown paper that I have. And this is a napkin. But I love this, and I felt like this was a nice addition to this book, the coloration, and also I think this is something Nancy would love. She loved jewelry and exotic things like ivory, like the antique ivory wasn't poached ivory. So I want to be clear on that, because everybody thinks when you say ivory, oh my God, they killed the elephants, but it wasn't poached. It was it's when the tusks naturally came off, or the elephants naturally died, you know, and the people, the native, the people who lived in Africa, you know, they naturally lived from the land. And so when animals died, or even if they hunted an animal, they hunted it for the food, for the skins, you know, to make living and dwelling places. It wasn't like they were on African safari. Let's just kill all these animals and, you know, put them on the trophy on the wall. That's what's horrible, you ask me. But if you're living close to the land, just like you know, early agrarians in this country, you know, people still raise cows. I know people don't live very far from me that raise cows and raise a cow for all year long or for a couple of years and what have you. And then knowing that they're raising it to slaughter it for the family food. I mean, so just, I want to clear that up because I know sometimes I get because I love anything that is art, an art form. And to me, there's a lot of beautiful ivory that's an art form, but it actually came as a result, as a natural process of living with the land, and not this idea of We're just killing them for the ivory, because I do agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't think you should kill any animal for its skin, for its pelts, I don't even think you should kill them to eat them, but that's just me because I don't eat meat. But I understand people who do, and I understand the process of that, so it's not a criticism. But I just think that, we should just be in harmony with the world around us. I believe in that. So the coral is also used in jewelry. You know that, right? A lot of exotic jewelry. And truthfully, there's too much coral harvesting that's been done, and it's messed up the coral reefs. So, it's like everything is a problem. But so I thought this was really pretty. And then this is another card that I got from some collection. Honestly, I don't even remember what the collection was. These were already made, but I, aged them more on the back a little bit. And but this is like a record card that I would imagine that Nancy would use this a lot in her business with orders and getting books out and working with suppliers and stuff. So this is the double pocket back here. And actually, there's also a pocket right here. Let me just use my bone phone. There's actually a tuck spot right here in there as well. And in the front, the same thing, because this goes all the way across. So there we have it. So this is Nancy Cunard, and that's the back. So I'm really loving this. I'm loving these journals. I mean, working on these Tattered Temples series. It just slides underneath the fabric and then into this little elephant, holds it in place. Okay, so these will be up on the website later today, and I'll be continuing to make them, but each one is completely different. Obviously, I'm not repeating the themes, or each one's a little different, and I'm really birthing these, so really having a good time with them. Both of them have leather on the spine. So there we have it. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for supporting me over here on YouTube and watching the videos, and I love all your comments and what have you. Please like this video, and follow me, subscribe if you want to keep up with what I'm doing, and also comment. I always love your guys' comments, and I always respond to them. So yeah, and I'd love to hear what you're doing and how you're working in your own junk journals, and have you started a Tattered Temple series? Be interested to know. All right, so there we are. Thanks again, and I have more videos, technique videos coming up next Wednesday. I'll be releasing another one. I'm starting to work on cigar boxes and what have you. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak preview. How's that? I'm nowhere near finished with it, but I'm working on it. And so I'll be sharing some of this process with you guys. I'm gonna let it down but I'm just kind of starting with the collecting and figuring out what the story of this. This is going to be another one in the Tattered Temple series, but it's actually going to be a box. And so I'm working on different things I've collected. I think it's a great way for me to put my collections together. But I've started working on making these little book bundles. And so I'll be doing a lot of these in here, and I don't know, but all this is just old stuff that's been collected. These aren't old. This is old buttons and stuff. So I'm going to be covering the inside of the box and really making it into my version of the concept. I thought the cigar box was the best though, because it has this glass window. I love that about it. So anyhow, I'm still working this, but just thought I'd give you like a little sneak peek for you. So I'll be doing on this as well, and the full process I'm working through, it's over on Patreon as well. So I show a lot of that over there, and also how I'm making my journals. But anyway, so once again, thanks a lot for everything. Look below the video too, because I have some giveaways down there that I like to share with you guys as well over on my Patreon, and in my studio school, there's some free flat lay videos and stuff like that, courses that I have. So anyway, okay, enough already. Take care, guys. Thanks a lot for your support, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye bye.